What's up? Howdy, cowpokes. This is Big Kev from Big Kev's World coming at you with another video. Big Week 7 win from my boys in two-tone blue, Tennessee Titans. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs 27-3. Yeah, I know. It's really hard to swallow that they beat the Kansas City Chiefs 27-3. I didn't know how this game was going to go about. Week 6 was a little, with Buffalo coming in on Monday night, we had that short week. I didn't realize if, I figured, okay, we're going to at least win one of those two. But I was happily and pleasantly surprised that we actually won both games. And that is something that's really unheard of. You don't get a chance to see those kind of things anymore. But then again, it goes back to what I was saying before that the Titans are very good at beating elite contender teams. I mean, they are. That's their MO. That's who they are. Now, it's interesting because week 8 we go to Indianapolis to face the Colts. So we got to keep that AFC South division train going. I thought Kansas City did a really good job of containing Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry had 29 carries for 80, only like 80 plus yards. So Kansas City's defense did a really good job of stepping up and wrapping Henry. But Tannehill, Titans they struck and they struck early, and the Titans defense did a marvelous job today, getting an interception from Patrick Mahomes, sacking him 4 times. Bud Dupree finally got his first sack of the year. Harold Landry got his 6.5 sacks now this season for Harold Landry, who's been a really big step up for us ever since we drafted him. Big steal in the draft when we drafted him. The defense was there. Kansas City was supposed to have this really big, powerful offensive line that they spent money on. And, Patrick Mahomes went out of the game early, had some kind of little injury. I don't know how big or severe it is. A.J. Brown had a really great game. A really big touchdown that he got. The Titans were on all cylinders today. And I can't be even more proud of that. But now that I'm looking at the schedules coming up, though, we got, like I said, we got the Colts. We got some really tough games coming up, though. We got the Rams, we got the 49ers, you still got the Steelers. So this is not going to be an easy stretch. But it makes you wonder, when we get deeper into the playoffs and we have to face Kansas City or we have to face Buffalo, knowing that we can beat them puts a really big boost for this team. And Mike Vrabel is a guy who's always saying when one guy gets hurt, step it up. And the guys stepped it up today. This team plays a lot like its coach's personality, and they're smash mouth. The Titans are smash mouth. They'll hit you in the mouth, and that's the type of team this Tennessee Titan team is. But the cool thing about this team, though, is whenever they're back against the wall, whenever you see, like last week when Monday Night Football happened, all those ESPN guys going, oh, Buffalo's going to win this game. Buffalo's going to win this game. Buffalo's going to win this game. No one really gave Tennessee a chance. And the same thing about the Chiefs. Now, I know some Chief fans are probably thinking, oh, well, you caught us in a bad game. I know Chief Urag's probably thinking that and other people, but let me clarify something. Yes, have the Chiefs struggled this year? Yes. But let's be honest. Maybe the tides are turning here in the AFC. Maybe Patrick Mahomes isn't that caliber guy that's supposed to lead his team all the time into the AFC Championship games, like a Peyton Manning or like a Tom Brady or Tim Brady, if you want to call him that now. Maybe there is something to be said about that. Our defense got 4 sacks on Patrick Mahomes. I didn't think that would be possible. I thought maybe 1, but not 4. But it was 4, and it was really good to see the Titans go in there and get that big win. Do I think that we now, if we could just keep a really good record going into the playoffs, maybe we could try to fight for home field advantage. That's been talked about here in Nashville. Can they get home field advantage? And will it matter? Because they did lose to the Ravens in the playoffs at home. A lot of things that have to be figured out, though, with this game. I just don't, honestly, beating 2 elite teams, beating 2 teams that went to the AFC Championship last year, a team that won a Super Bowl and went to the Super Bowl last year, and we beat them 27-3. I mean, 27-3. You just think about that for a second. Now, Arizona is playing on a whole different level. The Cardinals are, and they haven't even lost the game yet. Soon, I'm going to do a big NFL recap of the season so far and get a couple guys in here. We'll dissect it and what we think might be the playoff bracket, and just give our guesses and stuff like that. But one thing's for sure: the Titans will win the AFC South division, and the Titans will make it to the playoffs this year. Mark my words on that. As long as there's no big injuries with Derrick Henry or Ryan Tannehill. Derrick Henry got a touchdown pass. He threw a touchdown pass in the wildcat position. What's next? Derrick Henry probably going to kick field goals for us eventually. I'm looking forward to that. I think that might – it would be kind of funny if that happens. But, honestly, I just look at it like this. This was a statement win. Last week was a statement win. This week's a statement win. We're pretty much saying, go ahead, pick Buffalo, pick Kansas City. Talk about all these other teams. Talk about Cleveland. Talk about Baltimore. Talk about the Steelers. Go ahead. At the end of the day, they always put us down. Don't give Derrick Henry his credit. Don't give Derrick Henry his credit. But they won't give the Titans as a team credit. They just don't do it. And maybe it's the marquee, the city of Nashville. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But it really bothers me, and it pisses me off that we don't get no respect from the NFL. I mean, the Raiders are playing really good too, and it's like, what did the Titans got to do to get respect? Do we got to get to the AFC Championship again? Do we have to get to the Super Bowl again? Do we got to win the Super Bowl again? It's almost like and I know Titan Nation, I know you fans who watch the videos and stuff like that, I know you probably think the same way I do on this. Where's the respect? I know respect's earned, but I believe that we've earned that respect. Going into that playoff where we went to the AFC Championship, no one expected us to go in there and beat Baltimore. We kicked Brady out of New England on his ass. And we hung in there with the Kansas City Chiefs. And last year, we had 11-5 record. We got put out in the first round in the playoffs. And it's one of those things where what does the Titans got to do to get that respect? They're not going to get that respect like the Packers get. They're not going to get that respect like Tampa Bay gets and all those other teams get, because A lot of it is because of elite quarterback play from Tom Brady and from Aaron Rodgers and Sub Poston. Yeah, it's I just don't understand why we don't get the respect from the NFL peers, like these sports media mongrels who go on there and go, "Oh, Buffalo's going to whoop Titans' ass, and Kansas City's going to beat the Titans," and blah blah blah. It's like they get no respect, and that's fine. We do need an upgrade on pass rush. Harold Landry has done a really good job for us. Bud Dupree did get a sack today, but he's still coming off that ACL injury. Um, so yeah, I think we'll be all right with that. I'm looking to see what Bud Dupree does for the rest of the season. I mean, he was such a big stud on the Pittsburgh Steelers, but that's also because he had TJ Watt on the other side. So I kind of want to see what Bud Dupree could do on a consistent basis. Now, Harold Landry, when we got him in the second round a couple years ago, that was a steal. He's got 6.5 sacks right now for us. Um, but yeah, we do need some help. If Bud Dupree can't play up to the abilities that we gave him for a contract, then yeah, I do think we need to get an elite pass rusher. I do believe that, at least to complement Harold Landry, that would be a good thing for us. David Long has stepped up really big. David Long has stepped up really big for us. I know Javon Brown and Evans are usually our middle linebackers, and Evans got the interception today. But David Long is small, he's fast, he's quick, and he hits hard, and I love the way David Long plays. Um, I believe that Evans or Javon Brown or both will probably be gone this offseason, after this season. We did sign Brown to a 1-year extension. I don't think we're going to pick up that 5th-year option on Evans. It's kind of sad too because I did like Evans. I liked him when he first came out, but he really hasn't shown much of. He hasn't shown me much of anything since then. But that Titan rook, that secondary that we got is very young, but they did a very good job today. You know, we got some good we got some good key players on defense. We just need a little more, a little more in the pass rush and a little more oomph. Now, if Bud Dupree comes in and starts feeling a lot better, and then he starts catching momentum and he starts playing the way he does in Pittsburgh, then I would say, okay, now we finally got that pass rush. But until that happens, we're gonna be in these situations where we need to step it up on defense. Now, holding Kansas City to 3 points is a pretty big deal, but then again, the Chiefs have been struggling this season. Let's see, Titans need to rely on ball control. I don't think Tannehill complements Henry as well as he could. Well, I know that, but Derrick Henry complements the whole entire offense. When you're focused on him and it's able to get in a play action situation, Tannehill usually does pretty well. The only thing about Ryan Tannehill that the only thing about Tannehill that really bothers me is his it's not his durability, because his durability has been really well. What bothers me about Tannehill is when we've been to the playoffs twice, Tannehill has been a non-factor. He plays really great during the regular season, but during the playoffs, he's not. You don't see him. So if the Titans get to the playoffs this year, They don't need Derrick Henry all the time. They need Tannehill to step up and be the guy he is during the regular season. Now, if Tannehill can't be that guy, then we need to come across and think about the possibility of getting a different quarterback. That's it. That is the problem right there. Because he did a good job today when Henry was shut down for 29 carries, 80 plus yards. But he did a good job today. So I give Tannehill credit today. I'm not questioning. I'm not questioning. The one thing I don't question about Derrick Henry, the one thing I don't question about Tannehill is I don't question his heart. I don't question his toughness. I don't question his durability. I don't question his leadership. I question how is he going to show up when it matters. That's my biggest key with Ryan Tannehill is when we get to the playoffs and we start going in deep in the playoffs and we face the Kansas City Chiefs again, or we face Buffalo, that Buffalo's defense is holding Derrick Henry to like 50, 60, 70 yards. Let's say that. Can Tannehill stand up and step it up if they shut down Derrick Henry? That is the big $1 million question. When they shut down Zeke in Dallas, Dak can get it done. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I know if Dallas gets to the playoffs and they shut down Dak, if they shut down Zeke, I'm sure Dak can get it done. And that's what I'm talking about. That's been my biggest gripe about Tannehill since he's been on this team. Regular season, he could play just fine. And you're like, wow, okay. He has a pretty good regular season. He had a pretty good QBR rating. He has a pretty good completion rating and all this. He's thrown a little more interceptions this year than he has the last two so far. But I will say if he can play the way he does during the regular season in the playoffs, then we should have no problem getting to the Super Bowl. And I'm being honest with that. We should have no problem getting there. But if he can't, and we have to rely heavily again on Derrick Henry over and over and over again, teams are going to attack that, and it's going to be a weakness. And you saw in the Kansas City AFC Championship game, Derrick Henry was held below 100 yards. And what happened? Ryan Tannehill was nonchalant. So if Tannehill could do that, we could do that. Steven Rose is trying to draft Malik Willis in Houston. I think he'd be a perfect fit for Tennessee. I wouldn't be against that. I would not be against that at all if the Titans decided to take that as a draft pick. I would not be against that at all. But then again, though, Houston don't have a lot of draft picks, though. And they have a guy in Deshaun Watson that they can easily get some trade bait for, but we'll see what happens. I do think Dallas is going to win I do think Dallas is going to win the NFC East. I do see Dallas winning that division. Just so we know. I don't think I don't see us losing week 8 against the Colts. I mean, we did split with them last year, but I don't think that we'll have that trouble beating the Colts. I don't think we'll have trouble winning the AFC South. I think everyone can agree. As long as no big injuries happen, we got the AFC South. So we'll be in the playoffs this year. Titans might have a better record than I originally thought they were going to have. Get him on a round 2, and he's a project. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, I was actually very surprised. I mean, I kind of figured we could win this game I didn't think we were going to win this game the way we did. And I didn't think our defense was going to play the way they did because you have Dallas going to the NFC Championship and lose to the Rams. But we'll see. Arizona's undefeated right now, and Green Bay's playing really good. Dallas is playing good. The Rams are playing good. So, yeah, we'll see. Let's see. We got the Titans winning. Yeah, we'll see. I knew they were going to. I had a feeling that we could win this game. I didn't know if we could beat Buffalo at Monday night, but we did. I knew we were going to at least win one of these two games, but I was pleasantly surprised that we won both. And especially beating Kansas City the way we did was really a big statement win. And this is what's going to happen. We're going to have to come in there in Indianapolis and play the way we're playing. I think the Tennessee Titans are finally understanding. It took them week 8. It took them like week 6 and 7. But I think that they have finally figured out what their identity is on offense and defense. And I think that that's where I think that they were misjudging when they was in week 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 5. I think the Titans couldn't really figure out who they were offensively and defensively. I think they're finally starting to figure out who they are as a team, as a whole. You had the Bills. Yeah, a lot of people had the Bills last against Titans on Monday night. I'm not surprised. I mean, we did beat them last year, but Buffalo's also pretty good. Josh Allen's playing good. So, people here in Nashville are talking about Derrick Henry being MVP. It's a little too early for that. If he can get over 2,000 yards again, I would. If he's not in the talk, I think there's something wrong, obviously. But yeah, I think we definitely need to find a backup quarterback that can play behind Tannehill and learn. That's something definitely we need to do. If Bud Dupree does not become that pass rusher to help Harold Landry, then we need to find an extreme pass rusher to help complement Harold Landry. That's where we need to go. If in order for us to get further, that's where we need to go. But let's tighten up, Titan Nation. Still not over yet. We still got a couple of games to play. We got the 49ers coming up. We got the Rams coming up. We got the Colts. We got the Texans twice. We got the Jags again. We got the Steelers. We got the Saints. So, yeah, 22,000-yard career. Yep. He's on pace. Let me see if I can look at that real fast. Derrick Henry stats. For his career, right now, he's at 6,729. Altogether, he is 6,000. So he's on pace. I just think hopefully he gets there without no injuries and he keeps himself. Man, I've seen this guy's workout videos on Instagram and Twitter. Shit. I mean, this man is a beast. And he works out like a beast. And they clocked him with that game against Buffalo last week. They clocked him at 21 miles an hour on that 70-yard run. That's a 6'3", 230, 40-pound guy. He matched his career to Emmitt Smith's. That wouldn't be too bad. Emmitt Smith's a Hall of Famer, so yeah, that definitely would not be a bad thing there. But anyway, Titan Nation, tighten up. Got a long stretch ahead of us, but I do believe we'll get to the playoffs. We'll get to the AFC South. We'll win that division, get to the playoffs. Hopefully, we go further into the playoffs than what we did last year. I really, besides Buffalo and Kansas City and maybe the Raiders, I don't see a reason really to stop us at this point. Except for those three teams, I really don't see anybody else unless we have to go against the Ravens again, which yeah, Lord help the NFL. Yeah, definitely. Lord help the NFL if we can get an O line to push off the ball. And we got pieces to the O line that are great. We just need a couple more pieces to that puzzle, and we'll be there. Um. Anyways, it's Big Kev. Titans won 27-3. I'm out, and just remember, you're all living in my world. Oh, and by the way, before I finish, I've been seeing a little bit of stuff about this whole AEW WWE thing that's been going on. Imagine if Tennessee had Dallas O-line. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that Dallas O-line was good. But I'm gonna have to step in and say something about this last video about AEW and some of those. I'm not going to specifically say a name, but I'm just going to say that I saw that video that they said about Poston, and I saw some of the comments in there, and some of those people claim that this is not a social justice warrior fan base, and I'm going to get proof, and I'm going to show proof, and I'm actually going to show proof that the AEW fired the first shots, that they're the ones that have been talking about WWE. Even though everybody's like, well, WWE went against, they had NXT go up against AEW. And then they had that whole thing with Friday night and all that. Honestly, no one talks about how NXT beat them 10 times in the ratings and tied twice. No one talks about that. So let's clarify that too. I'll get into more details about that since people love to use proof online. Well, it just so happens I know a lot of stuff too. So I will show some articles that shows that AEW been firing the first shot, and it's not supposed to be competition. Here's the thing: if they're a 3-year company, if AEW is a 3-year company, then they really shouldn't be considered competition for WWE right now. So if you yourself are saying that AEW is doing a good job in 3 years, if they're doing a good job in 3 years, my question to you would be, then they really couldn't. Then they're just a starting company for 3 years now, as all these AEW fans are saying. Then they should not be considered competition for WWE until they establish more than what they're doing. That's not hard. That's not hard to say that. That's not saying that WWE is the greatest thing in the world, because it's not. But I'll get to that later. Right. Yeah, I'll get into that later. But right now, I just want to talk about and celebrate the Titans. Tighten up, Titan Nation. We coming again in Indianapolis, week 8 against the Colts. Got to get another win under that belt.